What real Fever fans, this isn't what real WNBA fans are about, and it's not what our organization stands for. And it doesn't in any way, shape, or form represent any of us. Fans have come out this year in record numbers because they love the game. They love the players. They love the Fever players and other players across the board. And our Indiana fans have just come out in unbelievable numbers and been so supportive, and we couldn't thank them enough. But I'll say this, togetherness is one of our core values, our 14 core values that we stand by. And we will continue to use that platform to bring people together. And I just thought it was important that we start right there.
All right, thank you, Coach. Got questions in the room. Tony, would you like to start?
Yeah, hard to follow that up, but Lynn, you've always talked about this plan you've had since you were hired to run this franchise, the timeline of what that looked like. How did this year fit into that? Do you like the trajectory the team is on and where you guys go next?
Well, Tony, I like it when plans work. You know, it's always a real positive. And 3+ years ago, I came on board in a capacity interim and then became full-time. And I felt like year 3, we had the potential to be back in the playoffs, and we had to take the steps, win 5, win 13, and now we won 20. And so I'm real pleased with the progress that we've made, the talent that we have, the job that the coaches and the players did this year. And so I think we've positioned ourselves now to take the next step. And it's an exciting time. What will that next step be? Where will we go now? How do we go from 6th to being in the top 4 cities?
We'll go Chloe, then we'll go Christine.
Yeah, Coach, I wanted to ask you about NaLyssa. Obviously, last night she posted about how her 3rd year wasn't what she kind of expected it to be. Just what conversations did you have with her just throughout the year about her role and kind of her frustrations?
Yeah, Lyssa's an incredible player, and she had great moments for us throughout the year. I mean, she is one of the key pieces why we were able to have such a successful year. I don't, the conversations that she had and that we had yesterday in our exit meetings was just about how she can be better and how she can help our team be better. And I love that about her. I love that she wants to make sure that she is doing what she has to do to be better. And like Lynn said, now we're moving to a different level, and we all have to take another big step forward. And I think she feels the same.
We'll go Christine, then we'll go Scott on the left.
Thank you, Ryan. For both of you, you, of course, were jubilant when you drafted Caitlin and jumping up and down and the whole scene here, right? We've all seen that on social media. Did she exceed your expectations? Did you think it would be like this? Not only the playoffs, but the crowds? In other words, is it better? Was she better than you thought? Was she the same as you thought? You can put it in perspective. Thank you.
I don't think any of us were ready for what that was going to be like. She's an incredible player, and we knew she was going to make a huge impact immediately for us. It was just going to take some time, just like it takes any other rookie coming into the best league in the world. But she did. But the thing about Caitlin is her competitiveness and her wanting to just win everything from every drill, every shooting drill. That just propels her to be, she wants to be great. And she did things that put her in that category this year. She makes everybody around her better with her, her game, the way she's a playmaker, and she gets everybody involved. But, she's, I would say she exceeded, expectations just because I didn't think really we knew what it was going to look like.
I wasn't surprised. I followed her career from the time she was a sophomore in Iowa. I watched all of her games, and I kept thinking about how in the world are we going to get this player? How are we going to make sure when she comes out we're positioned to draft her? Because I think she was underestimated when it came to her speed, her quickness, her strength. I was not surprised that she was the Rookie of the Year. I was not surprised that she was able to do some of the things that she did. I was pleased at how she adapted and adjusted to the physicality of the league early. I thought that was a real key moment for her when they trapped her, when they bodied her, when they were very physical with her, when they put the very best defender on her, and she adapted and she adjusted and she got better. And so by that Olympic break, we saw the Caitlin Clark I thought we would see. And I'm just thrilled that she's a part of the Indiana Fever.
Go Scott, then we'll go Bob.
Lynn, can you take us through what this season was like for you, how fruitful, how rewarding it was to see what this team was able to accomplish and return to relevance?
I think for those of you that have been around a while, I've been involved with the Indiana Fever, Pacer Sports and Entertainment, off and on for mostly 21 years. And so I've seen the highs, I've seen the lows, and I know what the Simons want, I know what they deserve, I know what our fans need, I know what the city of Indianapolis wants, and we want to play for championships. And so to be able to see this team go in the 3-year period from 5 to 13 to 20, to have fans hanging from the rafters, and I mean hanging from the rafters, sold out arenas, not only at home, but on the road, it means the world to me. I know how hard Kelly Crosskoff worked to get this franchise where it is, the commitment and the investment that Tamika Keshing's made, and so now we're back on that path to do what we're supposed to do, and that's challenge for championships.
Go Bob, then we go James in the second row.
We've heard a lot in the last 24, 48 hours about social media and the impact that it has on people. We haven't talked about the impact that it's all had on Caitlin. How much of a challenge has this season been? I mean, she's got security everywhere she goes. She's got the spotlight on her wherever she goes. How much of a challenge has it been for her off the court?
She does a really good job. Her maturity and the way she handles things from the first day I met her has just been incredible. I think she's handled it in a way where at times I've made sure to check in with her if I felt she was being a more, she's not really quiet a lot of the times, but when she does gift that way, you can think, maybe I need to, just look in on her for a bit. And, she's human, right? And she has endured a lot this season and has handled it in the most professional way. She's grown, like Lynn said, and not just as a basketball player, but as a young professional, because she is, our point guard and going to lead our team. But she never tips her hat. She stays the course and stays consistent, and a lot of respect for her for what and how she does that and what she's done all season dealing with that.
Bob, I think the experiences that she had at Iowa, very similar to this. Throughout her career, throughout the Big Ten season, sold out arenas, media, trolls, the whole works. She had already dealt with a lot of the things that she is dealing with now. And I think your question, social media is taking a toll on everyone. All of our players, all of our staff, we've all had to deal with the issues that we see today, and it's unfortunate, and it shouldn't be tolerated.
Go James and Chloe.
Christy, I know you came out with the prepared statement. What compelled you to make that statement now? And then also, I guess, I saw your tweet as well. What made both of you all speak on that at this point in the season?
For me, it's just, at the end of the day, we want to be good people. And I just feel like there's a lot of ugliness out there that, we can't control, but just to make a statement that says we don't condone it. And that is not what we stand for. And that's it.
I feel strongly that it's important for us to emphasize that these trolls are not what real Fever fans are, or real true WNBA fans are about, and we certainly, we know our organization, we know what we stand for, and we don't in any way or form, shape, anything, feel like this represents us, the hate and the vitriol. No, it's not real Fever fans, and it's got to stop.
Go Chloe, then Matt.
Yeah, for both of you, Kelsey has obviously been pretty consistent in this organization. Just how important was she this season especially, and how important will it be to try and re-sign her just this offseason?
Kelsey Mitchell's one of the keys for us to get to the level that Lynn is talking about, playing for championships. She's that important. Her growth over the last couple of years on the basketball court on both ends of the floor has just been incredible. On the offensive end, she is one of the best players to get downhill, the fastest players to get downhill. She's a tough guard. She's able to, the way she can shoot the basketball. And then now with players that take a lot of heat off of her, she's able to take shots that she's never taken. Defensively is where I'm the most proud of Kelsey Mitchell. She is really, she has taken pride on that end of the floor, which has really helped us. A lot of times she was drawing the best offensive player on the teams that we were playing. And she holds her teammates accountable to that end of the floor, which is somewhere we have to get better at for us to take these steps forward to play for championships. But she is, she's been a staple here, and we want her here. And I think she is, she's a Hall of Fame player to me here with the Indiana Fever.
Matt, and we got Mel Scott.
Yeah, hi, Lynn. So sorry if this has already been asked, but from last year to this year, Erica's taken more of a bench role, still an important role, but how have you begun to kind of shape what her future looks like here, or how do you begin to think about that? Not only just the potential years, but also like the contract coinciding with that.
I think with Erica Wheeler, we'll continue to talk to her about her role, how that fits with what she wants to do at this particular time in her career. I have an enormous amount of respect for her professionalism, how she handled. Last year she was our starting point guard. This year she was a backup 1, backup 2, provided leadership in the locker room, provided great leadership on the bench, as you know, was a real, I think she was the leader of the committee to keep Caitlin from getting technicals, so she really helped us in a lot of ways that maybe you don't see in the stats, and we'll continue to talk to her about her future.
Go Scott and Tony.
Lynn, for you, I was just curious, did you talk to the league at all just to get their feeling about getting a home game for first round series and probably expressing your disappointment of not being able to get that opportunity?
Is that for me?
Yeah.
Well, we were all disappointed.
Yeah.
The players, the staff, the marketing people, the digital people, the ticket people, the merchandise people. We're all very saddened that we're not able to be here today preparing for that game, because I talked to the GM in Connecticut and I said, Darius, let's go back to Indy. Let's have one game in Indy. And he said, there is no way I'm going to do anything to allow my team to get out of this arena. And I said, well, I don't blame you. I said, because we will have 19,000 people ready for you. And he said, I don't want to go back to Indy. But our players deserved a chance to play at home. And so that's something the league has got to address. When you earn a berth in the playoffs, you at least have earned one home game. So I'm going to be campaigning, to make sure this doesn't happen again. We deserve to have a home game. Our fans did.
We got Tony, then we'll finish up last one on Zoom with Howard Megdal.
Then two for you, one would be with Kelly in the mix, how does that change or the dynamic of the front office and the work that you do?
Well, first of all, I'm thrilled that she's back. I don't call her coming back, that she's here to take us forward. Her experience in the WNBA, her experience building this franchise, her knowledge, her experience in the NBA. It's a perfect time for her to lead us in the future to the next step. And I think her coming back in the role of a president of the business and the basketball side it is just amazing, positive plus for us. And I look forward to working with her in whatever capacity she needs me to. And I know Christie feels comfortable with her. We feel like we're in good hands, and I want to thank Mel Raines for making it happen.
Finish up last one on Zoom, Howard Megdal. Howard, go ahead. Howard, are you there? Okay, we got one more in the room, maybe. Tony, you got one more?
I should do.
Yeah.
Lynn, how has your synergy with Christie evolved since you hired her? What have you thought of the job she's done these 2 years?
Well, Christie just finished year 2. And anytime you see a first head coach go from 13 wins to 20 wins and continue to invest in her system and her plan for progress, she works diligently with relationships. She laid a foundation of culture. So I felt like, when I first hired her, that she was the right person to lead us forward and get us into the playoffs. And a lot of that has to do with her tremendous work ethic. It also has a lot to do with her energy. I mean, her energy is over the top, but you need that with these young players, and you need her, what she has is her ability to connect with these young players.
In what ways do you feel like you made the most progress this season from your first year, and how do you parlay that into a good third year?
sorry for my voice also, but I feel like the progress I've made would definitely be just continuing to make the right reads, especially at the short roll. I feel like that was something that my rookie season I didn't play through as much, was that short roll. But going into next year, I think I have a better idea of one, how we like to play, the pace we like to play at, exactly how defenders guard Caitlin, how they guard Kelsey, and stuff like that, and just understanding like what my position is going to be and just making sure that I'm able to dominate in all of it.
Go James then.
I know you talked about this before, but dealing with a lot of scrutiny, noise, whatever. How proud are you of yourself for how you came through this season and obviously growing into the next one?
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. I feel like, especially to start the season, there was a lot of conversation, a lot of chatter about me personally, about my play, about this team. And I feel like for me, the biggest thing was ignoring all the hate, in a sense, because I knew what our goal was here at the Fever, what our focus was. And so for me, it's about keeping my priorities the same, which is coming in, making sure I put in the work, making sure we win some games and continue to grow the franchise.
Go Matt, then go Chloe.
Yeah, hi Aliyah. Throughout the course of the year, we got to see the offense, grow more and more each game. So I guess should the front office make some moves or whatever they do, what do you think is the next key for this offense to continue to grow in the next season?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for us, it's going to make sure that, one, we have depth at every position. I think making sure that we have extra bodies, just because you never know how games go. I mean, in the first, can I get fined or something? Like in the first game, we had to reverse a call, like making sure that stuff like that doesn't happen, foul trouble, like making sure that we have depth. Okay, good. And just making sure that no matter what, we have sharpshooters on the outside, because at the end of the day, like, they're gonna play Caitlin, they're gonna play Kelsey a certain way, making sure that we have spray outs, automatic makes on the outside as well.
Go Chloe, then Christina.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, I saw you commented on NaLyssa's post saying she's destined for greatness. Just what has your relationship with her been like, and how have you seen her kind of work through this season?
Yeah, Lyssa's my sister, and I think we've just been able to build a relationship like that for the past 2 years, and I'm super blessed to always have her in my corner. And I did mean what I say. I know that she's destined for greatness, and I think throughout this entire season, this season for all of us wasn't perfect, had its ups and downs, but I think something that I'm so proud of her about is she came in every single day, she had a smile on her face, we made each other laugh. And she just dominated every single time she got that opportunity to. And so I'm really super excited for everything that's to come for her.
Go Christine, then we'll go Dana.
Aliyah, from you commentating last year on the Big Ten Network where you were interviewing Caitlin at times to now being this ABC squared, whatever it was, could you talk about the maturation of your relationship with her on the court and off, and how important that has been to you and to her and to the Fever? Thank you.
I think it's grown a lot from the start of the season to now. I think you definitely just needed to build that bond between us. I mean, it's kind of hard when you come straight from college, and I knew that coming from my rookie season, to kind of just jump into games and have to build that relationship super quick. And so it definitely took more practices, definitely took more games to learn each other and where each other likes to do and stuff like that. But I mean, I think we've done a pretty solid job of that, and it's helped us definitely in games.
Stay Dana, then we'll go Scott on the left.
Okay. Hi, I was wondering your thoughts on the Alyssa Thomas comments, and if you've witnessed any of that firsthand inside Gainbridge.
Yeah, I mean, AT's comments were, it's hard to hear, but it's also the truth in some way. I mean, I wouldn't put everything on Fever fans, but I mean, just overall on social media, I mean, there has been so much hate spread, and even being on this team, like, to start the season, I was at the other end of those hate comments. I was at the other end of every single thing that's to come. They say they support the Fever and everything like that, but I mean, they just said everything under the earth, and it was nice. And I feel like that was a big reason as to why I took a break from social media. And at the same time, it's like, now that the tables have turned and we started winning games, and I started doing better in their opinion, and then all of a sudden it was like love comments and, oh my gosh, you're doing amazing. And honestly, it's hard as a player, because every single night we come out here, we're not performing for what you guys think. We are coming out here to do the best that we can, to compete every single night. And it's kind of hard, but that's why for us, it's about focusing about the 12 in the locker room. It's about focusing what's important there, keeping those priorities straight, because if you worry about every single thing that happens on the outside, it's kind of hard to win games, and that's exactly what we want to do. But a big part of it too is the storylines that come out. Like, I feel like the media plays a big role in what other people think, whether they watch the game or not. Sometimes people aren't even watching the games, they're just looking at storylines, headlines that come out, and they're running off of that. And it's easy to attach yourself to the Fever because we have a lot of attention around us right now. And it's so easy to say, well, I'm a Fever fan, I'm an AB fan, I'm a Caitlin fan, and just dispute hate off of that. And that's never okay. I feel like no matter who you are, what team you play for, like, that should never be the case.
Go Scott, and then go Bob.
In this kind of foundational season, what kind of core principles and culture stuff do you feel like you guys were able to establish as you move forward?
Yeah, I mean, one, just being disciplined. I feel like that was the biggest thing for us. Kelsey would say that all the time. No matter what happens on the court, no matter what's going on, like, we have to be disciplined to what we know is important. I feel like that was a really big part of our foundation. But this other time, it's also writing for us 12. Like, I know I keep saying it, but that is really one of the biggest things that got us through. There's so much outside noise. There's everything that could be said, could be done outside, but we know that when we come in here to compete, it is for the person to our right, it is for the person to our left. Like, we've built a strong sisterhood, and we stand on that no matter what.
Bob, real quick, let me try going to Zoom for one more year. Howard, do you want to go and see if we've got all the technical issues worked out? No? Okay, we can't hear it, so.
Well, you've been around Caitlin for several months now. What are some of the things that she's had to endure on and off the floor that maybe we don't see?
I think to get a better answer to that, you'd have to ask Caitlin, probably, but I think just off of what we can see from the eye, I mean, I feel like Caitlin, everyone had a comment about how she should be playing or what she's doing, her stats, and at the end of the day, I think she's a rookie continuing to figure it out. I mean, she has a lot of attention on her, so there's always going to come scrutiny with that, but I also think that she does a great job of just letting it go off her shoulder, in through one ear, out to the next, because she knows exactly that we trust her, she trusts us, and like, that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
All right, so the last one, Leah, we'll finish up from Howard. What impact did Gillette Law have on your development as a player in person?
I love Coach Law. I mean, she helped me. I think one of the biggest things she's helped me with is the mental aspect of the game. No matter what happened, Coach Law just continued to remind me to be who I am and never let a team or player change that, just continue to dominate. But she's still a great mentor to me to this day. We talk every once in a while, and so I just love her, yeah.
And Caitlin, what value do you feel like you and this team got out of the playoff experience, and what did it to you reveal that you guys need in the future?
Yeah. Like we talked about in our locker room after the game ended, where obviously people were pretty disappointed in the outcome. I think it gave us a taste of where we wanted to be. At the same time, I felt like we could have done a little bit more to help it get back here for Game 3, and that's what really kind of stunk about the whole thing. But I thought it gave us a taste of where we wanted to be, and that's exactly the message that Christie iterated throughout the locker room, and that our coaches kind of iterated when they talked, is just that, you know, you have to let this kind of burn inside of you and let it kind of bother you in a way that it's going to drive you through the off season. How's it going to make you work? You got a taste of getting to the playoffs. Obviously, we haven't been there since 2016. So I think that's what the message was for us, is like, hey, great, we got the 6th seed. Our goal was to get back to the playoffs, but we probably could have given ourselves a little bit better of a chance to try to get it to a Game 3 to give our fans an opportunity to cheer us on here at home, and that's kind of what stunk about it. But you know, next year we're wanting to be a top 4 seed. You know, we believe we can build this place into a championship contender. That's what I believe. That's what I'm going to do everything in my power to help this organization get there. But you got to let it, you know, hurt you a little bit and really drive you throughout the off season.
Go down the line, James and Chloe.
Caitlin, when your head coach came out with a statement today saying she announces all racism that some people have felt in this league, players, trolls online, all those things, as one of the biggest stars in this league, what are your thoughts on the things not only your teammates have to endure, but just the entire league? And obviously, you've spoken this before, but just now as your coach and your GM are talking about it as well.
Yeah, it's definitely upsetting. I don't think nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. You know, those aren't fans, those are trolls, and it's a real disservice to the people in our league, the organization, the WNBA. But there are a lot of really good fans, whether they've been fans for 20 plus years or whether they're new fans in our league. I think continuing to uplift this league in a very positive light is the best thing that we can do, because There are so many great players, there's so many great teams, there are so many positive storylines that can be written and celebrated, and for me, that's why I became a fan of this league, is these people were my idols. I grew up wanting to be like them, so I think continuing to uplift and, you know, represent this league in a positive way is the best thing that we can do.
Chloe and Christine.
Yeah, just with all the success you have this season, just what do you think you need to work on to take that next step going into your second year next year?
Yeah, I think, like I said after we lost, is, you know, I think there's so many ways that I can continue to get better, and I feel like there were so many ways I could have been even better this year, and that's what, like, gets you going and gets you fired up, and you want to continue to keep playing, but at the same time, that's what stinks about the season ending, is I felt like we were really starting to find our groove and really play good basketball, and it feels like that's always kind of how your season ends. You feel like you're playing your best basketball, and then it has to come to an end, and it's kind of just who's playing better basketball at that time and who plays a better game. But I think for myself, it's just, you know, go back and really reflect on the year that you had and all the amazing moments. But I think, you know, just as a point guard and as a leader, there's a lot of areas that I can continue to improve. And, you know, I'm a competitor and somebody that loves to work, so it won't be hard for me to want to get in the gym and to get even better and, you know, get better for my teammates and really know, you know, we're a young group. We have a lot of really talented players on this team, and, you know, we won 20 games this year and we're the 6th seed, but I feel like there's so much more we can accomplish, and, you know, you can always just work for that and remind yourself of that, and that's certainly what I'm going to do going into the offseason.
Go Christine and Scott.
Caitlin, in the kind of kaleidoscope of memories that we all have of events and years, maybe 20 years from now when you're done, or 25, whatever, what do you think might stand out, positives, even maybe moments like the 2 threes in LA early on, or for you personally, are there any that you might think of in terms of highlights, showed you belonged, a pass, you know, anything that comes to mind now about this season and what you did in the season? Thanks.
Yeah, I think that's, there were so many moments, and every place we went was so unique, honestly. It's fun to kind of look back, like people always ask me, like, where was your favorite road arena? And I'm like, they're all so different and unique in their own way, and obviously for me, my first year here is like getting to travel to all these new arenas, and there was a few I'd already played at in college, but just doing it as my first time to the WNBA, like, those are moments you're going to remember within themselves. And obviously LA was special, the crowd we had there, and obviously I know it's crypto now, but like Staples Center and the Lakers, and just, you know, the history that building has. That was my first time ever in the building, and the way we came back and got our first win, and I couldn't buy a basket all night, but then I was able to make 2 at the end, and you know, the locker room was fun after that. I know it was our first win, but it was still special. And then honestly, you know, playing at home in front of, you know, these fans, and the way the young girls just, you know, dangle over the side of the rails and are so happy, and people are crying, and you understand the impact that you're having on people's lives, and that's what's so cool about it for myself. But I feel like there's just so many memories you're going to remember from your rookie year. Like, your rookie year is something you're always going to cherish as you go throughout your career. I think it was a huge learning opportunity for myself. I learned a lot about myself as a basketball player, as a person, being resilient when your back's up against the wall, but also really coming into our own and really thriving. And I think, you know, once we figured it out, it was a lot of fun.
And last 2 in the room, then we got another one from Howard, Scott, then Matt.
Caitlin, I know you said you don't feel like a celebrity, but you lived in that spotlight really for the last year. What can you kind of describe what that feels like for you, since we can't experience that? And then also, what do you kind of expect the next several months quietly to feel like as you'll be able to just live?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's like everybody's always watching your every move, no matter what you're doing. And I feel like the best thing that I've tried to live by is like to just be the same person that I am off the court, whether I'm, you know, leaving my apartment every single day or whether I'm here sitting in front of all of you. I've tried to approach it in the same exact manner that I can and treat everybody with the same amount of respect that I can, and to try to build really good relationships with people. And obviously some days are going to be tougher than others, and some days are going to be amazing. That's just life. And I would give my parents a lot of credit. I feel like I was raised in a way of like, you want to treat every single person with respect. And I feel like I have a very good feel on, basketball isn't my everything, and that's the way I was raised. Basketball was something I absolutely loved to do, but there was a lot of other things I had to have done in my life, whether it was school, whether it was, emptying the dishwasher or taking out the trash. I had chores that stunk, and I think there was just things that my parents really invested in making sure that I was a good person before, basketball or sports, and I've just tried to live in that same exact manner as just be a good human. And I think that's what I've tried to, show everybody as well, is I try to be the best human I can every day. I try to give people time if I have it, and it can be hard because there are moments where you don't always want to pose for a picture. You just want to go and get your sandwich and eat your lunch. And but I feel very thankful. I wouldn't change anything for the world. I feel very thankful for the relationships I built, the opportunities that I've had, the way people have supported me, and whether it was at Iowa or whether it's now in the WNBA, they have really, supported me and loved watching me play basketball and watching my teams play basketball. So I think it'll definitely be a little bit of an adjustment period for myself, not really having to do that so much. I woke up yesterday and I'm I don't know what I'm gonna really do. So it's gonna be nice though, I think, getting out of the spotlight and just getting to live my life and do things that I wanna do, and not have to sit and I love talking to all of you, but it's gonna be nice to not have to sit in front of a microphone multiple times a week. I really appreciate all of you, but it will be nice to kind of get away and relax for a little bit, and I appreciate everything you all do as well, so I thank you.
The last one in the room, Matt, then I think we got the Zoom situation figured out. We'll go to Howard.
Yeah, hi Caitlin. Even though it's only been a few days for you to start reflecting on your rookie season, was just curious what you think, in hindsight, what got you through the 1-8, debut, welcome to the league, only 20 days in?
Yeah, well, our schedule wasn't the friendliest to start, so it was a tough swing. We had a West Coast trip there early to start, and to be honest, there was a few games I felt we could have definitely won within that stretch as well, and that's what kind of bugged me the most. But I remember saying, I think maybe after game 4, maybe game 5, is these lessons are really going to pay off for us in the end when we get down the stretch, and I think they certainly did. I think those were moments where we really built confidence. We got, we were in situations that were tough. We became more resilient. It didn't always go our way, but it helped us become more resilient in the end. And I think, like I've said, I really admire this group, whether it was the coaching staff or whether it was my teammates. Every single day they showed up with a positive attitude. They showed up with the same exact energy. They just wanted to get better. They wanted to help us find a way to win. But they wanted to do it in the right way. And those are the people that you want to be around every single day. So I feel very lucky to have coaches that gave so much, not only to myself, but also to my teammates, and teammates that, not only pushed me to be better, but were also a shoulder to lean on when things were tough. And they made all that a lot easier for myself.
All right, last one. I think we got the Zoom figured out. Howard, go ahead.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Sorry for the acronym that we have now. Caitlin, congratulations on the season you had. I have 2 quick ones for you if I can.
Yeah.
First one is that there's been so much focus this year on how the larger world, that's the women's basketball world, has been not just paying attention to what you're doing, but celebrating you as a player, and how it hasn't phased you. I wonder how much you think, coming from Iowa, coming from a place where girls and women have always been celebrated for what they're doing on the court in these towns across the state, helped prepare you for the kind of attention you had this year?
Yeah. I don't think people always realize the University of Iowa was one of the premier universities in Title IX. Dr. Grant was obviously somebody that was very close to my coach, and Coach Bluter was the one that hired her at Iowa, and she wanted women to have as many opportunities as men. And if it wasn't for her and it wasn't for the way she fought for women's athletics, I'm not sure I would have had that opportunity at Iowa, and I'm not sure, people would have showed up for the women's basketball program in the manner that they did every single night. People don't realize the women's basketball program at Iowa had so many fans before I got there, and then they continued to rally around our teams and celebrate our teams, and they just loved women's basketball and the way it was played and the people on the court. And I think a lot of that has definitely carried over to the WNBA, and now you're seeing it here in Indianapolis with the way our fans have supported and really just been in the stands every single night. Gainbridge has been, packed to the brim. People can't seem to get enough, whether it's a Wednesday in August or whether it's on the weekend in July. Like people love showing up and watching, and then they find out, they love people on my team. They fall in love with another team and players on a different team, and it's just continuing to help grow this game. And I think, the opportunities that I had at Iowa certainly helped move forward the game of basketball, but also has helped me in the WNBA too.
Did it mean anything for you to be back in the league after some time off? And if so, what kind of fulfillment did you get playing in the W again with this team?
Yeah, felt great to be back. Felt great to do what I do on the court at a high level over here. So I'm just very blessed, to be able to be back.
James, and we go to Chloe.
Temi, what was it like to just navigate through the injuries, role changes, all those things, and still be a part of something special this year?
Yeah, it was definitely difficult. Injuries are never something you want to experience in the season, especially back to back injuries. But you just have to, take things as they come and just try and figure out and try and be the best you can be while injured. So.
Go Chloe, Christine.
Yeah, just as one of the veterans of the team, you've kind of throughout the season been the one to talk about the effort of the team. Just kind of reflecting back throughout the whole season, what would you say about the effort of the team, especially getting into the playoffs for the first time in 8 years?
Yeah, obviously we set our goal in the beginning of the season to make the playoffs, and thankfully we were able to achieve that. And although we made it, we still wanted to reach high for more than just playoffs, but we weren't able to do that. So although we did set our goal, we wanted more for ourselves, and so I'm very happy that we had that fire still even after we achieved our goal. And we definitely grew throughout the season, like you said, in the effort department and the heart and the hustle, and that's, for me, is everything.
Go to Christine and Dan.
Temi, you've certainly had a great career and you've seen a lot. How much fun was it to watch this young team start to gel and grow, and you, whether it's on the receiving end of the passes or just your ability to mentor, was it a different, maybe more fun experience for you than you've had in your career? Is there a way to kind of put into words what you watched and, of course, what you were a part of for this young Fever team? Thanks.
Yeah, just, especially while I was injured, I was able to watch on the bench as we won more games and, the girls gelled a bit more. So that it was definitely fun to see that progression, that growth, and just enjoying the game a bit more and each other a bit more. So we grew in that way, I would say, throughout the season. Still, have a ways to go. We're not perfect by any means. So I'm looking forward to seeing the team grow further next season.
Go Dan, then we go Scott.
Could you put into perspective, since you've been around, the NaLyssa Thomas comments and kind of if you've noticed an increase in the trolls and things like that when it comes to fans?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not going to speak on that.
Scott, go ahead.
This is the last time this group will be together as one, just the inevitability of changes. What high moments will you think back to, all that you guys were able to accomplish and celebrate together this season?
Just like the moments people don't see behind the scenes, the funny character revealing moments, personality revealing moments, and obviously on the court, just beautiful plays made by a lot of our playmakers. So, yeah, just a bunch of things that I would keep personal, I think. Yeah.
The last one, go to Matt.
Yeah, I mean, what did that moment in Connecticut mean to you, where you're able to make your first postseason start? You're able to have such an impact in the fourth quarter, even though it didn't go your way. What did that moment mean?
I mean, to me, it's just funny, because people ask, how does it feel to start? I don't care to start. I don't care to come off the bench. I care to win. So that's my goal every time I put on a jersey, whichever team I'm on, you know? Like, I don't know, just to me, people's kind of priorities are a little skewed when it comes to being on a team. And oh my gosh, are you starting? Are you not? Are you gonna get how many points? You get like the kind of the limelight. I don't care about any of that. So, not the right person. Those kind of questions. And I'm here to win and do my job. And so it didn't mean anything more or less than a regular game, other than just let's win.
Kristy, getting into the playoffs, the Olympics, I mean, what did this year mean to you just over the course of your whole career?
It was a really special year. I've been working towards the Olympics my whole life, so to finally tick that off and get a medal was really special. But then also this year was big too, in Indy, so it was awesome. I'm so proud of the year that I've had and really lucky to be a part of it.
James.
Christy, one, how'd you get through it all? Just playing so much basketball like nonstop. What's up with the Olympic break? You didn't get an Olympic break.
Yeah.
And then two, seeing your team grow from, you know, where you were at the beginning of the year to this point into the playoffs.
Yeah, it was a big year, but I was, as I said, it was, you know, these dreams that I had, so it was easy for me to keep going. And it was a really exciting year, so I had no issues with that. This team grew so much over the course of the year. We obviously had a rough start in terms of performance, but and obviously improved over the season. But I think as a whole, our core group was so solid this year, and I'm so proud of the girls and how we handled so much adversity throughout the year. I was so proud to be a part of it.
Go Chloe, then Kristy.
Just going through the season, your role kind of changed. Just how did you work through that mentally?
Yeah, my role did change. That's normal over the season, and I'm always prepared for that. You know, for roles to change. And I think that's, you know, whatever the team needs me in whatever stage of the season, I'm prepared to give them that and whatever they need. So I did that this year.
Christine, then we go Bob.
Kristy, as you participated and watched the season progress, was there a moment or two potentially, and I know it's kind of weird to just see if you can pinpoint a moment or two, but where you said, wow, this young team is getting it, or maybe it was just starting to win, right? Anything comes to mind, a game, a team where you saw maybe AB and Caitlin connect in a way, or you connected with someone in a way? Anything come to mind and that were key moments, stepping stones, so to speak, to the success that you guys ended up having?
Yeah, I mean, I think we always had the talent. It's easy to think there was like a click or something happened, but like I don't know. Like I think, you know, over the season, I think we always had it. We always had the talent. I think it was just a matter of, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I don't think I have an answer for it. So, yeah.
Finish up the last two, Bob and Scott.
Hey, Kristy, I'm curious what you've learned about Caitlin off the floor this year and the way she's handled the madness that surrounds her all the time.
Yeah, it must be tough. I've never seen anything like it. And she's got a lot on her plate in terms of the madness. So I think, she's. I think we all forget that she's still so young. And so I think she's handling it very well. And I think, as she grows and also matures as a human, I think she'll only get better with handling all this stuff.
Scott, last one.
Kristy, thinking back to this past season, just how rewarding or excited did you get going into each game knowing it was going to be a sellout? It might be the best atmosphere since the last game.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. To see how much change has happened this year, it's really, really cool. And every single game is almost a new record or a sellout game and all those things. So it was really fun to be a part of. It was fun. But also just to see the amount of young boys and young girls at our games losing their minds. That was really special for me.
Anyway, tougher for you not playing as much as you maybe had hoped, and if so, how did you kind of manage that and keep focusing on what you were doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely always tough to not play, especially when it's something you haven't really experienced. So it's tough for anybody in the WNBA, but it happens to a lot of people across the league. There's always, 2 or 3 people on a roster that might not have the role that they want, but you just have to keep working. I have confidence that things will work out for me in the future and be better for me. So I think just keep working, staying positive. And then also I had really great teammates, great people in that locker room that made it super easy to stay positive, keep working hard, and root them on.
Go James and Christy.
Grace, along those lines, what was it like to just work through the season and try to still improve even though you're not playing? Like, what does your day-to-day look like, practices, things like that? And do you go harder in those settings because I might not get as many minutes as I thought I would, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can go harder when you're not playing games, kind of treat it, almost like off-season in terms of individual workouts. I had a great trainer kind of outside of the organization that I was able to work with. At nighttime, focus on, expanding my game, which you might not have been able to do if you were playing regularly in the rotation. So it was good for me in that aspect to keep working on my individual game so I can be ready in the future.
Christine and Scott.
Grace, obviously from the Big Ten, there's a lot of other Big Ten players that are out there, and one of them, of course, is Caitlin.
Mm-hmm.
Could you describe just your rivalry? Obviously, you've played a lot of games against Iowa, big games, right, with IU, and then having her as a teammate. And any thoughts or any specifics even on was that fun? How fun was it? Watching her success, just anything along those lines. Thanks.
Yeah, it was really fun, I think, especially for someone like me who got to see her since she was a freshman at Iowa. And immediately you could tell how talented she was. I kind of had too close of a front row seat for that at Indiana. She got the best of me and us quite a bit, but I knew how talented she was. I knew she was a once-in-a-lifetime player. So for me, already being in the league and then welcoming her in, there was no question for me that she would translate pretty much immediately. I mean, she's one of a kind. She's a once-in-a-lifetime player. And just, a hard worker, super talented. So it's definitely been more fun to be her teammate than to play against her. I can tell you that. She's not very fun to play against. But just to get to know her kind of off the court, how good of a person she is, how lighthearted she is, which she's, super competitive on the floor. And light switches, as soon as she gets off, she's funny. The jokester in the locker room. So it's been fun to get to know her on a different level.
Go Scott, then we'll go on Zoom to Howard.
A quick follow-up on that one. Have you met anybody more competitive than Caitlin?
I've met some competitive people, but she's definitely right up there in everything that we do.
Right.
Yeah.
And then in terms of just trying to stay ready and contribute, did you try to find other ways, or how do you find other ways to help the team when the minutes may not be there? And then how much are you just looking for to showcase that work that you said you put in the Winter League?
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, it's easy to stay ready when you have teammates that come in every day. They're working hard themselves, and that's just kind of was the culture around here. People getting up extra shots, people staying after practice. So it's easy to stay motivated in those situations. I think focusing on practice, doing what I can there to try to make my teammates better was something that I kind of locked in on, and then during the games, just being supportive for them as much as I could. And now I'm excited. I put in a lot of individual work this summer. I'm going to Turkey on Tuesday, so getting to play with professionals from across the world, getting to showcase, and then just get better, compete with the best. I'm excited.
All right, we'll try one last time on Zoom. Howard, want to go ahead?
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
God, we get it. Okay, we got it. Howard, go ahead.
Grace, good to see you always. Question for you, just as somebody who has done as much as anyone to try and build the women's game in the home state of Indiana, I just wonder if there's a moment or moments that kind of jumped out at you, particularly about the way this season has resonated in the state and just how meaningful it is to see what the Indiana Fever have become, even beyond what you grew up seeing them be.
Yeah, I hope it becomes the norm. It should be, I think. With more eyes on the WNBA, people started to fall in love with it. Not only in the state of Indiana, but we were selling out arenas all across the country, which definitely was not the case in my first year. So I think just getting more eyes on the game has been super special. And people are realizing how great of a product it is. How it's just as exciting as the men's game, how it's just as exciting as the college game, and how talented of people we have in this league. So I think it's been really exciting to be a part of and see, and I just hope that it becomes the norm moving forward.
Because I know we asked you this a lot throughout the season, but now that it's over, you had the playoff experience. What did this all mean to you to have this season finally crescendo the way it did and have accolades come your way, both on a team and personal level?
Oh man, I was grateful. I didn't know how I was gonna get through this year, and so I first thank God because I was just telling Mr. L, like I went through a lot internally. A lot of what I went through, I relied on my dad for, and not having that voice, not having that like sense of like connection, physically, indoor, psychologically, mentally, etc. That was tough, and so I had a village of like other 11 ladies that willed me in a lot of places I didn't think I was capable of going. But it was definitely a paramount year for me on so many different levels, so I was grateful for the year.
Go James and Chloe.
Erica, Grace just talked about, people supporting her throughout everything. I feel like you're the biggest supporter of anybody wearing Fever stuff. Where does the energy come from for you personally? And then, why is it so important for you to put that out there for everybody who touches, Fever things?
One, I'm probably the most experienced player on this league. And I think the ones that came before me that taught me the way would be disappointed if I didn't. So one, I'm always trying to make the people that helped me along the way proud. And one of my energy just comes from my mom. My mom is an energy person. I'm in my family. If you go to a family cookout,
yes, the whole family.
it's a burst of energy. Nobody is really calm, probably the baby only if they sleep. But other than that, it's turned up. But the energy comes from that. And then me just trying to help where I can help. Like I said, I've been in this league for a very long time, 10 years, sound crazy. And I've been through so many things. So I notice like when players are down and when they need, certain things, and I just try to give it in any way I can.
We'll go Chloe and Christy.
Yeah, Kelsey, Christie earlier talked about how important you've been, just especially this year, and with your contract expiring after this season, would you be interested in re-signing or coming back to the organization?
It's definitely a lot of emotions and thoughts that flow through my mind. I think that everything for me is so fresh that I don't know what I need and what I'm going to do, but I know that when the time comes and the opportunity is right for me to make those decisions. Obviously I've always had a home in Indy, so it could potentially be a home for me again. But I think right now the switching dynamic of my family and everything, I got to do what's best for me. And that's no hanging my hat on one team or another. But I think it's specifically for me. I got to be selfish about that process. And when when I know, you'll know. So we'll see.
Christine, then we'll go to Dan.
For both of you, you both are veterans and have had amazing careers. You've also had the opportunity to be mentors, especially with this very young team, right? And with AB and now, of course, Caitlin. Is there a moment, or can you speak generally or specifically about that role, watching them work together with you guys, of course, but anything comes to mind of how you helped Caitlin or AB or both of them, and so, of course, also helping your entire team. Thanks.
I can take it. I think you guys know from before this even started, I was helping Caitlin. And I think just from a perspective of a veteran, knowing that when you play the same position as a veteran and you're a rookie, I think the transition is always hard. And for me, I don't like weirdness, I don't like awkwardness. I'm very honest, I'm very direct. And I didn't want anything to be weird or awkward that she couldn't come to me. And knowing that, I knew that it's a possibility my spot would be taken. I didn't want her to feel like it was heavy on her, so that's why I reached out early on. And like you asked about A, B, and C, I think you guys saw it. I mean, it was some days where it was very freaking awesome, and there was some days where we struggled, but that's just the name of the game. That happens, and they're young. AB's only 2 years in the league. Caitlin's months in the league. It's not even a year yet. She's only months in the league. So I think with time, it's only going to get better. And as you saw, with time after the break, it got better. So the future is very bright for those two.
We have Dana, then we'll go Scott on the left.
I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Alyssa Thomas's comments and if you've seen any of that firsthand.
No, what was the comments?
Oh, Alyssa Thomas came out and said that the Fever fan base was racist.
I mean, we can't control what someone else says. Like, for the more like,
I think that for us, we err on the side of professionalism in a lot of different ways, and we can only control what's in our organization, within our people.
And that, I mean, me personally, we don't condone those kind of things. No matter what color you are or whatever you carry or possess. I think for us, we focus on the basketball part. And I think that she may have had an experience that we may or may not know on our own. But I don't think that, that should be labeled on us 12 or our, who we try to represent for ourselves. And so, I respect her comment and what she has to say, but I don't think it has anything to do with us,
Yeah, and also to piggyback on that, like, we don't condone any of those things. Like, for the more you know, I's been on us since C got drafted. So for us, our year's been blocked out longer than most people, if that make any sense. So, like I've said a comment before, like, it's a lot of things that try to come in this building and to pull us apart that we just didn't let. However, we probably got it too, we just don't care about it, because what's important is this organization and us winning games, and that's what we did. So, but for the most part, we don't condone that. I don't care about it, because there's a fan who probably sitting on the couch doing nothing, so I don't care.
Go Scott, then we'll go Matt in the room.
To either one of you, coming out of the pressure cooker that's been this whole season, more like on the basketball court, the sellout arenas, the attention, additional media, having come out of that, what stands out to you about that experience and the elevated attention received by everyone?
I think for me, what was most glaring is, for one, the amount of eyes that was gained through this process, for seeing us play and see us represent what is the game. And then on the flip side, I think it was an open eye for what 2024 was like, being in this world and being an athlete. And I applaud these young players like your Angel, your C Squares, because it's an experience, and I think that you really have to prepare yourself mentally. You have to be okay with who you are, and you have to have a sense of thick skin in this process. I applaud those young ladies because it was an experience for me. I just say that.
Yeah, Matt, then we'll go on Zoom for 2.
Yeah, hi Erica. Last year more starting minutes, this year more of an important bench role and bringing the energy every single game. What do you envision for your future in this league, and is there going to be an intent to come back here as this is your home?
I don't know. For the first time in my career, I really don't know. I really just want to spend time with my family. I think we all need a break. I'm gonna probably get off social media for a bit and just really spend time with my family, because like Kelsey said, it was a lot. With the eyes, you gotta have thick skin, and I must say my thick skin was tested a lot, but
same.
Yes. But I think for the most part we was very professional, and then I think once we flipped our mind and made it about us, nothing else really mattered. So for me right now, it's about my family and just spending time with my family, because I'm also going overseas to play in Turkey. I'll probably sign today. By the end of the day, I don't know. I ain't got to sign it. I don't know. I might change my mind. Who knows? Things happen. I know, right? So really, right now, it's just about my family. I'm not thinking about free agency. So many people ask me about it. I don't really care right now. I'm a very present person, and my next present thing is to kind of just be with my family, and then also checking on my teammates from time to time, even though I need a break from them too.
Not for me.
2 on Zoom. We'll finish up Jennifer, then Howard. Jennifer, go ahead.
Jennifer Porty from Let's Go Women in Basketball. What are your personal goals for next season, and what was your most memorable moment this season?
I would say my most memorable moment was my first time seeing the amount of fans. I don't know, it was like this is crazy moment, but I had my jaw dropped, and I think we were playing New York. It was playing New York. It was an ESPN game. I'd never seen that many people in the Fieldhouse in my life. So I would say that was my most memorable moment, because that was an early New York game. It was a beautiful experience for me, because I've literally been here for 7 years, and that amount of people in that arena was crazy. But I think the personal goals is figure out how I can be better as a player, figure out what I need to do to help a team, whatever team that is, and then from there, be the best I can be.
I think for me, my memorable moment is when I threw the drop pass back to C, and the arena just went crazy for the first time. I played UConn when I was in college, and it was a crazy experience playing in UConn. But that was probably the best. In that moment, I was just like, yo, we about to get this every night. This is crazy. And but that just goes to show you what the women game is doing. It's just growing, and the world is watching. And for me, my personal goals for next year, always want to be better. I have a bunch of people that my mentors trying to be better, a better leader. For the more look good all the time, I'm not always the best leader, and I get checked by my teammates a lot. So just trying to figure out ways to be better as a leader. And on the basketball side, we gonna stay in the gym regardless. Like that's a no-brainer.
Howard, last one.
Kelsey, Erica, congratulations to you both on the seasons that you've had. Erica, this one's for you. I know you talked about being a mentor for Caitlin. I wonder how much Coach Stringer has played a part in the way you think about how you approach that, and if you have a particular moment you remember where you said something that ultimately you knew it could have come out of Coach Stringer's mouth.
Most definitely, Vivian has a big part of that. She preached sisterhood, and I think for me, just reaching out first, I think that's the first thing that came to my mind, because Vivian is a very direct person. She doesn't leave anything off the table, and if you want to get ahead of something to make someone feel like your sister without knowing them, you reach out first. So I think that moment was definitely one of those moments that Vivian would definitely be proud of, because a lot of people thought I was crazy for doing it, but I think it ultimately helped me in our team, and for our transition to be super smooth, and that's why I can yell at C and she responds to me and, not give me much attitude here and there though.
Kelsey, appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
For both of you, if you don't mind, let's start with you. You said last night that you couldn't have imagined your third season going this way. Can you kind of elaborate on what you meant by that and what kind of was different in your mind?
Well, I mean, everybody comes into the season thinking they're gonna have this outstanding, accolade, achievement, season. So, I mean, I feel like I didn't get to do as much as I wanted to do. I didn't get to contribute as much as I wanted to contribute. So that's how I meant by that.
How hard was it with your role kind of changing a lot throughout the year or two to be the player that you maybe hoped or wanted to be this year?
It was really hard because coming in, there was a lot of different conversations of how it was going to play out. So just it fluctuating throughout the season. It was a lot of highs and lows.
You go, James and Chloe.
NaLyssa, how did you personally deal with the hate, the racism, the attention, scrutiny, and then also just navigate that to go out there and hoop?
I feel like I'm the type of person where I just be putting like a lot of stuff to the side and try to keep like the main thing. So I don't be trying to get too like deep into like the other side of things, because I know at the end of the day I'm just, I'm here to play basketball, and it's also like, there's only so much you can say when you're here.
Chloe and Christine.
Yeah, NaLyssa, that post, it kind of seemed like it was a goodbye post to the Fever. I know you have a year left on your contract, but do you anticipate parting ways with the Fever this offseason?
I've been hearing that a lot, but I didn't think it was a goodbye. It was more so just like, me appreciating all the people that did help me get through this season, and just helping me keep my mental health on straight. I just put like, I don't know what the future holds, because in this league, so many players jump around, get traded, get waived, get this, get that. So it's like, I could have said the same thing last year, this year. I don't know what my future holds. So.
Go, Christine.
Katie Lou, obviously from college, friendship and getting to know people and how important that can be in terms of the success for a team, as you had it with UConn. Here, it seemed like you and Caitlin, Lexie, going on vacation. Do you feel that changed potentially the dynamic for all three of you and the team in general, to have getting to know each other, friendship, the jokes, the fun that you could have, and did that actually help the Fever do better? Thanks.
For sure, I think throughout the season, throughout that Olympic break, I think our team as individuals, we really got close together, and I think we had such a group of players that have such good hearts. I think people didn't always get to see how much fun we had together and like really understand how big of a bond we did have as a group. And as we got closer, I think that helped our season. You saw how we started and then how we finished the year. We really had to come together, because that beginning of the season, it was rough for everyone involved. And so us really leaning on each other and coming together, that's what kind of turned it around. And as the season progressed, we knew that
whatever happens on the outside, whatever happens in the game, like it's on each other that we need to be there for each other.
We'll go Scott, then we'll go back to Chloe.
Katie Lou, what can you kind of walk us through your season? Because there's some highs and lows. It felt like there was a turning point, maybe at that illness, and then you're out a few games, and then minutes started to dip. What kind of happened there and impacted your season?
Yeah, I can honestly say this was the toughest season I've ever had. As a player, as a person, so many different things, so many things in my life changed leading into this season. Best things that could have happened to me, having my daughter. I'm so proud of myself for getting back to playing and getting back in this league. But, there was just a lot that I had to deal with myself, internally, externally. There's just things that I really tried to push through and went through this season, and I'm really proud of myself for how I was able to handle all of it. I appreciate my team for always being there, picking me up. The staff, everyone really were there to help me through, and I'm excited to see what I can do going forward. But like you said, this season was a lot of ups and downs, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity, for the support, and the love I had around me.
We'll go to Chloe, then last one in the room for Tony.
Yeah, for Katie Lou, kind of just to follow up on that, just after having Aliyah, was it more difficult than you anticipated to come back into the fold?
I mean, it's the hardest thing I've ever done, coming back, playing, and just doing what I needed to do this season. I think I am excited for the future. I feel like I have an understanding of what I need as an individual, as a human. I think people they have a limited view of what we go through as players, and they see what they see, and it's easy to criticize or say, things could be, you need to fix this, you need to be doing that, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on that people, media, fans, everything, nobody gets to see the day-to-day, and so having that support is really important going forward, and I'm excited for this off-season and then to come back next year be better.
Yeah, James, and then we'll go last one on Zoom for Howard.
Melissa, I know you touched on it. You expect every season, every player expects to have a great season, all these things. But for you, how do you grow through that? Some people think that growth is like linear, it's going to be constantly up. But how do you continue to grow as time goes by? And how do you think you've grown so far in the WNBA?
Just putting the work in. Just starting at knowing you belong here. You got to know you belong here, and you got to know you can compete in this league, you can play in this league. So that's what I do know about myself. I've been playing basketball my whole life. So I know what I could bring to the table. I know what I could prove. So it's just about, this offseason is going to be super important, getting the work in, going to play overseas, making sure I'm in shape, making sure I just take care of myself. So that's going to be, big leading up into my fourth year.
Last one on Zoom. Howard, go ahead.
Listen, congratulations on the season that you guys have had. Katie Lou, if I could ask you, obviously with all that you've gone through to be in a situation knowing that you have stability for the off season as you figure out kind of what's ahead, take me through the way you envision this time going and just what that level of security means to you, knowing you have a place next year, you know where you're going to be.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I have had quite the career. I'm excited to be in the same place playing and building on this. And this offseason, I also have the opportunity, which I didn't have as much before, to have a place to train and be around and people that can help me in this offseason directly. And so that's something that I haven't necessarily had access to before. And I'm just excited to build on it, to come back, to grow. I think playing in the playoffs and being in that position, was really, really awesome to do and be in this situation this first time I've been on the Fever. And so, we want to grow from here and get back there and be even better.
Lexie, especially after the Olympic break when it felt like you couldn't miss. What did this season, that stretch mean to you, especially after the first 2 years of your career?
I'm just really grateful that time by the game. I feel like the last, all 3 years, I've always worked really, really hard. And percentages don't lie. Finishing those last 2 seasons and looking at my percentages just not being where I wanted them to be or where I thought they deserved to be for how much work I was putting in. So to be able to shoot well in the second half just really meant a lot to me.
Go to Chloe and Christie.
Yeah, just throughout the season, you kind of went from getting, did not plays to starting. Just what was that process like for you, just mentally, kind of with that changing role?
It's for me. I just had to trust the process, and I think everyone's career arc in the WNBA, even season arcs just look different. And knowing that I was putting in the work, my teammates believed in me, my coaches believed in me, and it just wasn't the right time in the first half, So just staying the course, trusting the process, and I think, now that we're at the end of the season, I think we're all very proud of the product we put out.
Go Christine and Bob.
Lexie, first of all, hard-hitting question. I'm joking. I want to make sure I get this right. The video that you shot with Caitlin, with the baseball commentary, was that in your room or her room?
That was my room.
That was your room.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. And then, bigger picture, I just asked Katie Lou about friendship, the meaning of friendship. Obviously, you had it at Stanford, right? You guys get to bond with each other, know each other. How important do you feel that was, going on vacation with Caitlin, obviously, and Katie Lou, and getting to know each other, and how that impacted the success you guys had, you and the team? Also, is there like a funny moment that people would be shocked about Caitlin that you could actually tell a public audience?
I don't even know about that. There's too many, to be honest. I think friendships, though, relationships, that's what makes the sport worth it, in my mind. I mean, we sacrifice a lot to be here and to be away from our families and our friends, and building those relationships with our teammates is what makes the season worth it. The time off the court, getting to know each other, making those inside jokes, being able to laugh and have fun together. I think that makes the season so fun. And then I think you see that chemistry build throughout the season on the court as well. So getting to go on vacation, getting to take a step away from basketball and just have fun, I think really just helped all of us just grow together.
Go Bob, then we'll go Scott.
Speaking of your relationship with Caitlin, what are some of the things that you learned about her off the floor this year? And were there things that she had to endure? I mean, she's got a unique life. Nobody else has the attention on her like she does. Are there things that she had to endure this year that maybe we're not aware of?
I think she's just, I've said this before, but she's so mature for being 22 years old and having the attention that she has. It's pretty incredible. And I think, outside of basketball, she's just a 22-year-old girl who goes and lives life and has fun and does everything normal. And I think something that's so hard is, it's so hard for her, I think, to go out and do normal things because the attention that she has. And fans are great, but they want to get their picture. They want to sign things. So a lot of her time is spent doing those things, which any normal person living can go out and do whatever they want and not be stopped. And I think she's handled that with so much grace, and it's just pretty incredible.
Go to Zoom first before we go to Scott. Howard, go ahead.
Actually, congratulations on the season that you had. You shot 63.2% from three-point range after the break, and I just wonder, after putting so much time and effort in over these 2+ years, was there a moment you sort of realized that this was going to go your way?
I don't know if there was a moment. I think one of the things we did over the break during our practices, we would get a paper with our three-point percentages from practice. And one of the days, it was like a week long, and I think my percentages during practice was over 50%. And in my head, during practice, I feel like I remember all the misses I made, or all the misses I have, and didn't really realize I was shooting over 50% from three. So I think that seeing that on paper gave me confidence that maybe I am shooting well, I am not just missing. So I think there is a mental piece to it that you have to just really believe that it's gonna go in, and I think seeing it statistically helped my confidence a little bit.
We'll go Scott, then we'll go Matt.
Lexie, what kind of characteristic or foundational traits do you feel like you guys helped establish this year to go into next year?
I think we're really resilient. You just look at our season arc and how we started and then how we finished. I think that just shows that none of us were willing to give up, that we believed in ourselves, and that we again trusted the process and didn't. I mean, it would have been easy after going 1-8 to just kind of give in and be like, it's not this year, we'll get it next year, but that's not what we did. We got to work, we focused, and I think that really paid off in the end. And it just shows the grittiness of our group.
Matt, last one?
All right, never mind.
Oh, sorry. All right, that'll finish up Scott, sorry.
Alexie, I was just curious from your point of view, what was it like this year, not only to have the spike in attendance around you and your teammates, but also just to have the national, eyeballs and the attention around you and your teammates as well, compared to years prior?
I think it shows the growth of the sport, and it's exciting to be part of it. And you know, with growth and with new eyes, there's pros and cons to that, and I think we've seen that recently. But we're proud of the product we're putting on the floor. We're proud of the group that we've had, and we're excited that there's people, you know, following our story, and we're just excited for the future of the sport, the future of this franchise.
And then in terms of you and Caitlin again, did you feel like it was important to help her to try to live somewhat of a normal life and experience little things like going to a baseball game and certain things like that maybe ordinarily, if no one helped her in that, you know, maybe it'd feel a little bit more isolating?
Yeah, I mean, I like to have fun. I don't like to sit in my house and watch Netflix all day, so I was excited that she was willing to go and do things with me. So, you know, it's fun to have someone to go do those things with, and I know that we'll continue to spend time together and continue to do those things that just a normal person do and have fun and make memories, and that's, you know, that's part of this process and a big part of the reason I love it.